Good
Hello.
morning.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful day.
It sure is. It's 8 a.m. here.
Oh my goodness, it's 11 a.m. here. And that was still hard. You see my hair is still wet.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had this big idea, this big dream to have my makeup done and to be all non-COVID and ready. But I kept hitting that snooze button and I was like, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes.
Same here. Same here. 5 more minutes. Luckily, you did call me this morning, so thank you. I was up. And of course, my dog, Coco, she wouldn't let me sleep. So I'm here and I'm happy to be on air. It was motivating. Now my Saturday is going to be like, kick-started.
I know, right?
Yeah. So,
Yes.
how did you sleep? Did you sleep well?
Um, I've slept better, but I'm here.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So, yeah. So let's get started.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go ahead and say introductions and then we'll go from there. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Hioho, good morning, everybody. Hioho, Mitaki Ape, Eva Cordova, Yamachi Ape, Malakota, and Taos Pueblo. Good morning, everybody. My name is Eva Cordova. I am Taos Pueblo and Oglala Lakota. My Tama is Conquilla Joseph Cordova. My Ina or my Ka is Patricia Patty Crow Cordova. And I'm sixth generation from Chief Red Cloud, and that's who makes me who I am. I am the owner operator of AC and Associates, and I am a visitor here right now on the Snow Mountain Paiute land, which is also known as Northern Las Vegas. And I'm going to turn it over to you, my beautiful, amazing, lovely co-host.
Skugsiatic, Aninapchigik, Jennifer Varenchek. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Varenchek. I'm from the Tohono Nation, and I reside on the occupied territory of the Kingdom of Hawaii. And I live on the island of Oahu in Kaneohe, and it's just great to be here. I'm happy to be a part of this live stream once again. And I'm just happy to be here. I think did we want to start with that meditation that we talked about? Did you want to do? Okay, so April and I yesterday were talking about taking a minute to just relax and receive all the abundance that the universe has out there for us. So we wanted to start and we wanted to share this meditation with you all that it's on this meditation card. And I know you guys can't really see this, but I'm going to read it for you. So we're going to inhale, and on the inhale, you're going to think or say all that I need and desire. And then when you exhale, you're going to say comes to me. And then you're going to inhale and say all that I have. And on the exhale, I give away. And the last one is all that I give, and exhale and have returns to me tenfold. So I'm going to inhale. I'm going to over exaggerate, and then I'll say it. So everyone, let's just inhale. All that I need and desire, exhale, comes to me. Inhale. All that I have, exhale, I give away. All that I give, inhale. Exhale, returns to me tenfold. So that's just a little abundance meditation that can, if you do that repeatedly over and over, it can really help your mind to relax and to just be in the moment and to receive abundance. And I think that's something that we talked about also, and we're going to talk about today, is about allowing the good to come into your life.
Yes, Jen. Yes, preach, girl. I want to shout out somebody, and I'm so excited to see them. Thank you so much for doing that. Sometimes we forget to breathe on the right time or the right day, or when we're, in a struggle, or when we're overwhelmed, or when we're frustrated. We just don't breathe. We just react. And I totally need that. So thank you. I'm so excited to see this comment. Leah Hale saying, "Hello, ladies. It's good to see you." I'm so excited to see her. She's such a inspiration to so many, including myself, a filmmaker, a mother, a strong Indigenous woman who grew up in the hard streets of Pico Rivera. And then moved away and is doing amazing. So thank you, Leah, for saying hello. We love you, and we're sending virtual hugs to you and your family. Thank you for checking in.
Yes, I also want to say, oh my gosh, it's so good to see that she is seeing us. Leah, I have been thinking of you lately because I watched on Netflix the documentary about the filmmaker from New Zealand, Marita. And oh my gosh, I just kept thinking of you over and over and over again because it was just so inspirational. And I'm just so proud of all the work that you're doing out there. And, about indigenizing the screen. That's important. And so you have been on my mind lately to see that your comment is really making me smile too. So I'm sending you also virtual hugs.
Yes. So thank you all for checking in. I know we do want to say a prayer, and I'll say the prayer. However, I was rushing around this morning. And yesterday when I talked to you, we talked about, just being calm and not like freaking out. So it was 10 o'clock today, and I was like, okay, 5 more minutes. And then it was like 10:15, and then my granddaughter said, "Grandma, I'm hungry." So I was like, okay, let me feed her, and then let me get in the shower. And I've been watching all of these, what do you call it, like YouTube stuff on how to prepare. And one of the things it says to be ready, but I was trying to take from what you told me yesterday and not freak out. And we can all freak out about stuff, and then it just cause all kinds of other craziness to happen. So I'm just trying to be calm, and I'll just excuse myself and go get my medicine while you talk, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure. I think that the metaphor for being calm, I was telling April that a lot of times what you might see is like, for instance, is just a really calm surface, like the duck. You don't see the little feet scurrying along underneath. And that's what's that happens a lot with me, especially on Zooms. A lot of times I may appear that I'm really calm or happy, or a good example that my friend Gabby pointed out to me. Recently, I was in a writer's room getting feedback on a script, and I heard everything that everyone had to say. And sometimes, I didn't agree with their comments, but I didn't rush to defend, and I didn't um, get angry or whatever, I would just accept what they had to say, and I would say thank you, and I would say okay, thank you. And inside, which I told Gabby later, I might have been like so angry about what they were saying, or like you don't get it, or whatever, like having some type of reaction. But externally, I was trying to be as gracious as I could be and just kind of be like, thank you, I appreciate that, like I'll consider your feedback. And just try to be that way. Now, I don't know if that is, that's not being 100% authentic, but I felt like it was being appropriate because when I do that, it helps me to, so internally, I might be emotional about it. I might be angry or whatever, have some type of reaction. But if I allow that to come to the surface, then I kind of it tends to roll, like get out of hand. So if I just kind of breathe and be like, thank you, eventually that anger and everything just kind of like subsides. And I see that, that person, that's just that person's opinion. And so I don't have to feed into that, which is where when I was younger, I would really feed into, I would allow it to draw all of that out, all that drama, all that anger, all those feelings out. And now I just kind of like, breathe it in, breathe it out, and moving on to the next thing. And so it doesn't really have any type of disruption. But it's taken me a long time to get to that point. And I still get upset. And now back to April.
Okay, so I got my sage, my California white sage, and I'm gonna smudge you guys and smudge myself. And when I talk about smudging, so there's this California white sage that I have here, and you see the smoke. And basically, what I do is put the smoke on me. I gave you all some, and if you were here physically, I'd pass it to you in a clockwise motion. We'd all be sitting, hopefully, in a circle. And I just take the smoke and, smudge my, take it in my mouth to say good things, put it in my heart to hear good things, not to hear, to feel good things. And there's that smoke and that smudge will then go up to Creator and take all of your prayers and your hopes and your dreams, and up to Mawana, Creator, to allow you to have all of your dreams and your wishes and your prayers go up to Creator. So I'm going to just say a prayer and open us up in a good way. And if there was an elder here or somebody of the land or a native speaker, I would ask them to do it. But because it's just me and Jen on the other side and you guys watching, I'm going to take the lead and say a prayer. And I just want to start in a good way. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening. And I'm going to go ahead and um, say a little something for us. So, Creator, we come to you today with open hearts and open minds, thankful for the many blessings that you provide us on a minute, monthly, second basis. From the ability to walk, talk, be here today to visit virtually, to talk about things that might be hard to talk about, to might be hard to face, might not even have been a question, but we're gonna look at all of that today. Thank you for the friendships that I have in my life. Thank you for the support that I have around me. May you bless the individuals that are watching this, that will rewatch this. May you continue to watch over them, keep them healthy, wealthy, and safe. May you continue to be a blessing to all of us who are struggling with grief, with depression, with COVID, with life in general. Continue to watch over all of us, keep us safe, warm, fed, and keep us sane in whatever capacity that is. Thank you, Creator, for all of your Many blessings. Ta'a pilamayaye. Gracias. Atiehet. Ajonas le. Ajonas le. Ajonas le. Ajonas le. Amen. So thank you guys for coming, listening to me. Thank you for allowing me to say a little prayer. I utilize this medicine on a daily basis. I actually was the first thing that I did when I woke up today, and gave it a little to my takojas, my grandchildren, and my granddaughter. Her name is Delilah, but we call her Sissy. She just goes like this. But that's okay, as long as I notice that she's, um, wanting the medicine, and appreciative of it. And she always, when I light it up, the first thing she'll say is, medicine, medicine, like that. And my grandson, when I went to him today and I put it in front of him, he just was like, Mom, Sonny, it's medicine. He's like, "Arr." But I was like, don't make that face. Let's just, have a good day, and smudge yourself. And, after that, he moved his arm around and went back to his iPad. And, it was okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and create, to put this out and move on with our day in a good way. I feel so much better, actually. I was anxious and all, and but calm, cool, collective. That's me right now. The end.
I feel uplifted, so that's good. It's important for us to remember to do that, especially when we do get all life gets hectic and we get all out of sorts in a way. It can always ground us. So yeah, and I'm really happy to hear that Delilah and Eli are, you're exposing important things to them at such a young age, and they know what it is, and that's like, that's what keeps us going.
Yeah, I was in a virtual talking circle yesterday, and they were asking, how your day was and stuff. And I was letting them know that taking a, I've been taking a language class, two language classes, actually, a Taos Pueblo class, and a Lakota class. And when we go to sleep, I tell them good night in our language, and their response always is, it amazes me. I'll say "Kasanukuya hama," and they'll be like "Kasanukuya hama hampa eh," and they'll like repeat and say it, and I'm just like so amazed. And then they'll say that, and they'll be like "Nupa Yamani," and because I'll be always counting to them or singing, and it makes me laugh, and it makes me happy. It makes my heart happy to hear them, repeating the things that I say. Um, but then too, my grandson will get frustrated with something. He'll be like, "What the heck?" So they do repeat everything, and we are role models. And I told that to my grandson the other day. I was telling him, Sissy, she copies everything that you do because you're her big brother. Do you know what a role model is? And I explained it to him. He's only 5, but still, every day I tell him, you're Indian, and you're Michoacan, and you're Pueblo, and you're Lakota, and I just, a lot of the times when I work with young people, they say, nobody ever taught me, or no, I didn't know where to learn. So the little that I know, I'm going to teach to them as I learn too. That's it, the end.
No, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. And yeah, the little knowledge that you have, or that I have, that we have, we need to keep it going and pass it on. So totally, yeah. No, that's great. And I mean, you said, oh, he's only 5, but like, wow, that is so cool. Like, when did you learn how to count? Not when you were 5.
Yeah,
So
well, he goes to school. He goes to school in person. And he's been going to school for a couple months, actually, for about maybe 2.5 months, 3 months, maybe. But he's learned so much at school. You know, they use a lot of songs and they use a lot of um, different types of animations, like dun-dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun-dun. There's Sunday and there's Monday, there's Tuesday and there's Wednesday, there's Thursday and there's Friday, there's even Saturday. Dun-dun-dun-dun. So we'll be walking around the house singing that, you know, all of us, and even Sissy, she's all like that. So they do a lot of great things at his school. I really like his school. So yeah.
So should we get to our first, or are there any more comments that you want to talk about before we dive into our question?
No, well, I did highlight Leah, and then Joanna Ferguson is saying good morning, ladies. So I just want to say hello. Please feel free to use the comments. We can see you, we can interact with you, and we just will be here until 1 Pacific Standard Time. What time is that for you, Jen? 8, 9, 10.
10 a.m.
Okay. So we'll be here for a little bit, about an hour and a half, and you know, we're just gonna chit chat and engage. And if you wanna you know, write a comment and we'll say hello, shout you out, tell us where you're coming from, where you're checking in from. Let us know what tribe you are, you know, how you're feeling. Answer the questions that we're gonna go ahead and pose right now. So let's go ahead and get to it. How is Hawaii?
Today actually is a beautiful day. The sun is shining. I on my side of the island, we live on the windward side, and so it tends to be rainy and overcast. Yesterday we drove into town, which is Honolulu, which is about, depending on traffic, like 35 to 45 minutes away from our house. And when we got there, it was like the sun was out, and it was like as soon as we go through the tunnel and we get to the other side of the island, it's almost always sunny. But because of COVID and then some other things that we have going on in our household right now, we've been staying in. So for the past 2 weeks or so, it's been really overcast and gloomy. It's still really warm, but it's also been really rainy out. And then I did post a video that showed that we were flooding our neighborhood. Specifically, we were on the news. The news came, 2 different news channels came to our street, because our street was like completely, it was a river. Like they were literally on surfboards, like, excuse me, going down the street. So, it came up to we have 3 steps to get into our house. Our house is lifted. It's not like on the ground. So it came up to the first step and was like kind of creeping up to the second one. And I was getting really nervous, but it ended up being fine. But unfortunately, some of my neighbors did have extensive damage, and I really feel bad for them. And now it seems like the sun is starting to really come out on our side of the island. So that's good. So the sun was out. I don't know how long. Usually for the past 2 weeks, it like comes out for like 10 minutes and then it goes away. But it's been out all morning. So I'm hoping that it's going to stay out. That's how it is over here.
Do you think that it was intentional that your house is lifted because of the floods that happened?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's very common. So many houses here in Hawaii are like that. Yeah, they're not on the ground. And so it's a very common thing. Like our next door neighbor, the one right next to us, his house is the same way. So we would look at his house to kind of gauge where the water was on our house. The one thing that about our house, though, that is we're very fortunate is that our plot is not whoever built the house knew they actually made it so that you have to drive up a little bit, like up a little bit of a slant to get to onto our property. So when they put down like the cement for our home, they, I guess, added to it. So we're the only home that's a little bit, you have to drive up to. Everyone else is like on the ground, and then the house is lifted. So all of our neighbors, we have a pretty big, we have like 2 driveways. So our neighbors, everyone came and parked their cars in our driveway. And so their cars were safe. So that was good. And our cars were safe. So yeah, it's part of the landscape here.
All right. I see. So let's go ahead and look at the first question.
Okay.
Here is what we're talking about today. Or this is the first question. It's March. How's it going? Any progress on goals so far?
Who's first, me or you?
I'll go. Let's see. Let's not look at that question. That's the next question. But it's March. What are our goals so far? That was a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm gonna keep it real. Let's keep it real, right? It's been a crazy week for me, and I've been in emotional ups and downs, and that's okay. I think that when I say about goals and such, I want to be real that I took a step back from social media for a moment. I'm not as active on it, and I think that's because I'm just trying to process my own feelings about things. And let me look at the question again because it's March. How's it going? Any progress on your goals so far? So, yes, there has been progress on my goals. As you can see, I have this thing right here. And I did this with for a workshop, and this is my dream board. So I've been looking at it. Oh my gosh, I've accomplished some of my, just by looking at this right now, it says computer right here because that's what I wanted in 2021. And this week I actually was gifted a computer. So I can totally, oh my gosh, take this off well, not take it off, but maybe put a heart around it and circle it. Um, And then the other thing too, right here that I have is YouTube. So my goal is to my online YouTube views to increase to 100. So the last time I checked, I was like at I think like 30. But that's okay because I am not really pushing it. But if you're interested, if you just look down here, you can subscribe and follow to AC and Associates. And thank you everybody for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, you can actually watch this through Facebook, through YouTube, which is right here, and through Twitch. So thanks guys for watching, and I'm excited because even though I stepped back, but I have this to look at every day, I've just realized that I've, you know, achieved one of my goals. And I made this in February and it's March. So like in a month, I've actually, oh my God, yay! I'm so excited. So see, it's the things like this that make me happy because like, yesterday I was like, or even the day before, I was like not in a good headspace. Even though I prayed and, I'm human and I just want to be okay to not be perfect all the time, I guess you would say. I think that's what I struggle with a lot. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with is, well, I'm not going to say a lot of people, I'm going to say me because I don't know, what other people might be going through. But for me, it can be a struggle every minute, every day, maybe even every second, whatever it is that we're going through. So that's me. That's my goal. That's the first question. And I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that is the power of having like goals written down or having a vision board. It's like, even though you don't think that you're working on it, like subconsciously, and also the universe is like working together to make those things happen. And I have an example of that, which was last year. I think it was like towards the end of October, November. I was in writing class, and we had to write down make a plan. It was called Indigenous Storytellers, and it's through Creative Lab Hawaii. And we had to put out a plan until March, I think. And then some things happened here within my family that made it that my plan that I totally worked on and like created a calendar of like, this week I'm going to do this. And it was all leading towards getting funding for my short film. And then so in November, some things happened that like made me completely step back and concentrate on my family. And so that was November, and then like December, and I would have my check-in calls with my group, my cohort group, and I would just let them know, like, I'm trying to make progress, but it's really difficult because we have this other stuff going on. And then January came, and we started to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so I was able to work on it. So January came, and then I opened up that document, which I hadn't looked at in like 2 months. And I was like, oh my gosh, almost like everything that I wanted to do didn't happen in the order, but it happened. And I ended up getting funding for my short film, which was like a miracle, because I was like, I didn't even really do all the steps that I thought that I would have to do in order to get to the end. And it just magically happened. So that reinforced my my belief in writing down goals and in having a dream board. So yeah, yay. So the question, which is it's March, and how are my goals going? They're going pretty good right now. I'm mid pre-production for a shoot that's going to happen in April. I had a really great call last night with in post for another short that now that like I let them know, things, we have turned the corner on my situation here at home, so it's looking good. So I'm like, I'm ready to come back. To like, we're not completely out of the woods. We're still waiting for some things to happen. But it's not like it was before, where before it was really like, it was really bad. But my goals in general, I'm working on them. Most of mine have to do with either health or with writing and directing projects. So I think that I'm going pretty well as far as making sure that I'm following through with the things that I need to do. I would say if I had to give myself like out of 5, I would give myself like 4 stars as far as like it's going really well. Of course, there's areas for improvement, and I can work on those. But I have to take a step back and go like, oh my gosh, you're doing it. So yeah, I think it's going pretty good. I would like to check in again in the summertime and see how's it going. But I do believe that having my I don't have my dream board up, but I have this beautiful red carpet that Avril gave me. She gave me this background. Um, and so I'm going to have that up for a while. And I think that that is helping, get me in the mindset and to also to stay focused. So I think things are going pretty good.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's move to let's say hello to Christina Fiore, and then we will move to our next question. Hi, Christina. It's so good to see you. You should put in in the comments your business information.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So yeah, she's an awesome soap maker, bread maker, jewelry maker. So Christina, put in the comments your links. So the next question is, how do you see Madam Secretary Deb Holland in her traditional clothes make you feel? How did seeing Deb Holland, Madam Secretary, in her traditional clothes make you feel? Um, okay. Go ahead.
Okay, me? Okay. I okay, so the first time I saw it, which was on the news, I don't think I really fully appreciated what I was watching. I was watching it more of like a news eye, but then I watched it again on social media and it hit me, and I'm getting choked up just thinking about it now. It was so beautiful. And what really made me so happy about it was to know that, that she went out there and she was wearing her beautiful ribbon skirt, and she had on her moccasins, and like that's that's us, that's me, and she's representing all of us, and everybody gets to see that. And for us, that's normal, that's natural to see somebody in a ribbon skirt if you're in a, going through something that's like a ceremony, which is what it was. But I feel like for the rest of America and the rest of the world, anyone else that was watching it, they may have been like, what is that she's wearing, and they're getting exposed to our culture, and they're getting exposed to the fact that we're still here. And I don't know, the second time that I watched it, it hit me like it's hitting me now. It's just so many emotions, all of them good, pride, happiness, hope for the future, and then not to take away from what was happening, but also who was swearing her in, our vice president, and who was also a woman, and who's also a woman of color. So it was like all these things when I was watching that the second time around, it really, really hit me. And I just had like tears streaming down my face, even more so than I do now. And I was just so happy. And I was home alone when that happened, and I didn't have really anyone to share that moment with, but I kind of was like wanting to look around and talk to someone, but after I settled down, I was like, no, just treasure this like for yourself, And so I will always remember holding my phone and watching it on social media and just having these tears come down my face. And I think I probably also had like a really big smile on my face. I'm just so proud of her. I'm just so proud of what she will accomplish. I don't know, we don't know what she will accomplish, but I know it's going to be good things. So I'm just really happy about it. So that's how I felt watching it. How about for you? How did you feel?
It's interesting that you say we don't know what she will accomplish, but hearing you and seeing your tears and knowing what I felt, not only for her swearing in, but um, for the votes too. Being one step before that and seeing the votes and feeling like changes really happen, and that I can show my granddaughter, and my grandson, somebody that's us, that knows our struggles, that we don't have to explain our history. We don't have to take that extra time to explain the things, or because she knows all of those things. And what perfect position for an indigenous woman who knows lands, who knows the importance of tribal, to be the Secretary of Interior, of the lands. That's change. So I felt happy. I felt excited. I felt seen. I felt as Indigenous women, um, you know, it was a good day to be Indigenous. So yeah, that's what I felt.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think like I once saw this I don't know if I want to call it a meme, but it was like it said something like white privilege is learning your history as a main a main class and my history as an elective. Um, and I feel like we Indigenous people were really starting to be more seen in the world, and I think it's a really good thing because we're bringing all of the stereotypes of us. We're able to take those stereotypes and show people that like that's not we're not all on horses and living in teepees and walking around in loincloths. Like that's not um, that's not who we are today. And so I think that that's really important to bring a modern view of who we are to the public. Um, I remember once in the 90s, I was in line with a bunch of friends to go see a movie that had a Native American actor in it. And actually, I don't really remember the movie, but what I remember was I was like so excited. And they were like, "Why is this supposed to be such a good movie?" Or like, "What? Like, why are you so excited?" And I was like, "Because so and so is in it," and I don't even remember who it was. Um, then they were like, "Okay." I'm like, that's a Native American." Like, and then I was like, I kind of like snapped in a way, and I was like, "You guys get to see yourselves on television and the movies like every day, all the time, 24/7. But when do you ever get to see a Native person on screen?" And they were kind of like, "Oh yeah, I never thought about that." And until you have some type of an experience, it's really, if you're living in that world of like you see yourself reflected everywhere, then um then like you're not able to understand that. But when you're on the outside and you don't see yourself reflected anywhere in the media, in print, then when you see yourself, it's so exciting. And I think that's what, for me, really got to the core of my being, was seeing her and being like, that's us, and I see myself. So it was great. It was a beautiful, beautiful day.
It definitely was, and it's gonna be, that's just the start. And oh, I'm so excited. It's a great day to be Indigenous.
It sure is.
So, yeah. Are you ready for the next question?
I sure am.
Okay.
I feel like I'm playing Jeopardy. I'll take the next question for 200, please.
Okay. Well, let's see what our next question is. Da na 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 na. So it should be coming up here momentarily. Just give it a second.
I like
But I
that.
do want to say,
I was gonna say, I like the background, how the background moves. It's really cool.
yeah, yep.
Is that a Canva thing or a stream thing? What's it called? StreamYard. I'm all
StreamYard.
the duck. I always think
It's
of
a
the
Canva
duck.
thing.
I don't know why they came up with the duck as their logo, their mascot, but like it's hard for me to equate duck and StreamYard. But yeah. Oh, okay, this one.
It's a Canva thing.
Okay.
So I use Canva for a lot of my flyers, presentations, social media. It's a really good application, and I actually, if there's a free version, and I would encourage anybody to check it out because it's freaking amazing. Um, but um, but yeah, it's a Canva thing. So, did you see the question, or was
I did.
I just talking so much? Okay.
It's the one about advice.
Yeah. This one, right?
No, the other one about advice. Why is it easier said than done to take your own advice?
Okay. I think this was the next question though. But okay, so going back to it's a Canva, it'll come up right now, the next question.
Okay.
But how did we come up with these questions? We were just talking, and all these things are actually personal questions, because we wanted to engage with you all. And if you have questions, put them in the comments, and we can answer those too. But confidence in yourself. Do you put a lower value on yourself than other people do? If so, why? Do you want to go first?
Okay. So I'm trying to think of like how we came up with that one, like what topic we are talking about that brought us to that question. But I am coming to the point where I am phasing that part out of my life, and being able to be really confident with myself and put value on myself. But it's been a long journey. And I think a part of it is just I kind of feel like with COVID, with everything that happened with COVID, it just brought me to a space of like, I'm just tired. Like I don't have time for that. So meaning um, I'll go back to the example of what I talked about before when getting feedback about something. And first of all, sharing anything that I create, whether it's a short film or if it's script, is internally very difficult for me. Like it's emotional. And when I share it, there is now the struggle is less, but in the beginning, the struggle was really hard. Like I was like, I don't want to, like, I'm too scared. But now, I think, like I said, it's getting to the point where I guess I just don't care. Like if I like it, then that's all that matters. Like I like it because I'm the one who made it and I like it. So I'm becoming more confident in my work. Um, and it hasn't always been like that. I remember once at a film festival, someone came up to me and they were like, "What'd you think of my film? What'd you think?" And they really wanted feedback. And I gave it to them. I told them thought it was great. I thought it was, and I shared them what I thought. But I never asked them, what did you think of my film? Because I was like, I don't need to hear it because I got into the film festival, so that's good. And I like what I made. But that it hasn't always been like that. Definitely when I was younger, I was very concerned with what other people thought, and I would, turn right and left, whatever they said, I would do because I felt like I needed to please the audience or whatever it was that I was doing, whether it was a speech or something that I written. And I'm reminded in that same writer's feedback session, this guy kind of like, I don't want to say stood up, but he stepped in and he was like, listen, Jennifer, people are going to tell you, keep the gun, take the gun out. Cause we were talking about a gun. You do what you want to do. That's ultimately all that matters. And I was like, yeah, amen. Because, I was like, someone who was like, well, I don't think you should have the gun that soon. The gun, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, that's interesting because I got the exact opposite feedback from another group that I was talking to. And it just kind of came back and forth, back and forth. And so when he stepped in to say that, it really made me kind of like snap out of it and be like, yeah. So I think though a part of that question is like, do you put other people's value? I don't remember exactly how it was written, but I think I still do put particular people. I put more value on them than myself. And I need to work on that, especially when it comes to my field. If they have more experience or if it's someone that I look up to, I may listen to their voice. Their voice may get louder than my voice. And I really need to watch that because I feel like when you're creating art, or really when you're creating anything, but in my case, art, the vision and the art is coming from me, from Jennifer. So Jennifer's voice has to be strong in it. So I need to really stay true and be authentic to that. Because when you are creating art, you're going to, like, I was on the phone last night, lots of notes of like, change this, take this out, da 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 da. And like, that's important, that because sometimes, you can get lost in your vision, and it's important to have other people's perspectives, but also it's important to stay authentic. So And then at the end you have here, if so, why? I don't know why I do this. I don't know why, but I'm working on it and I'm aware of it. So I am doing the best that I can to be the best version of myself that I can. So I will do, I'll just keep working on it to try and make sure that I am being authentic to myself. So the answer is, do I do that? Kind of. Why do I do it? I don't know, but I'm going to try not to do it and and be authentic to myself. Okay, I pass the
Awesome.
mic
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank you so much. So, confidence in yourself. Do you put a lower value on yourself than other people do? Honestly, yes, I do. I think that a lot of the times I don't think that I'm doing as good as a job that I can, or I don't think that I'm doing a good job at all, or I think that at this particular time right now, I think that I'm in awe of the things that are happening to me or the things that have come my way because of what I had. Recently, I was on a um, recently I
Panel.
was on a panel, yeah. And it's surprising to me. I was excited about it, um, but I still couldn't believe that I was there. It was a national panel, and they actually were asking me how I pivoted or how my my community has pivoted um, in this time of COVID. And for me to be on a panel and for me to be able to talk about what I do or what I've done or all of that stuff, I'm doing it, but sometimes I don't value myself or my skills um, at a higher level or at a level that other people do. So that's how I see it. But I just gotta, you know, be more confident in myself. And like you were saying earlier, up here you seem calm, but inside you're like freaking out. And that's sometimes how I can get. And yeah, the question is yes. Do I value myself a little bit less? Yes, I do. Do I help more people than helping myself? Yes, I do. Um, am I in a state where I wish I could do more for more people? Or sometimes I think, how can I do more for more people? In that panel, I let them know that um, it's like at 2 o'clock in the morning is when I get these crazy ideas, you know, to have a fashion show or to have a powwow or to have, a bingo, online bingo. I get all these crazy ideas and then I introduce these crazy ideas to my friends and they're all like, let's do it. And I'm like, oh my God, it was just a crazy idea. But that's how we're here today. So, I just want to highlight Denise, I so miss you. The feelings you get when you sit in a roller coaster. Yeah, emotional feelings. Please tell Lala I said hello and the kids. It's been so long. I follow you on Facebook and I see your updates and I just miss you guys. So um, I think that COVID has brought a lot of those feelings, roller coaster feelings and grief feelings, and it's been a minute to take care of myself so that I can take care of others. And that's an everyday something for me. So that's it. That end. La la la.
The end.
The end.
I did want to throw in there though, because I remember when we were talking about coming up with these questions, that I think one of the things that kind of inspired us for that question was about how sometimes we can go to bat for others. And then, I mean, I'll just use you as an example. Like, I think of all the work that you've done, that you did pivot, that you really, you have this live stream going on, you have your wellness hour and the Paku party hour, and you basically created like this whole new area branch, right, for AC and Associates. And so I could talk you up, and like you said something that I was like, what? I think it was like, you don't think that you could be doing better, or I don't remember what it was, but I think, yeah, we get hard on ourselves. Like, we really judge ourselves in a harsh manner, yet all those around us are like, oh my God, April's doing like so awesome. She's amazing. She's doing all these great things. She really embraced having to be virtual. And then yet you yourself are like, I'm not doing enough, or I could be doing a better job. And I think that was like the genesis of the question. And so, yeah, like, why do we do those things? And I don't know, why do we do that? And I think the same thing for myself. You could be saying all these great things about me, and I'm like, I have so much I have to do. I have, like, all this comes into my brain, and I then lower my opinion of myself based on all this craziness that's happening that I created. And so that's like an additional thing to work on. So there's lots of things to work on. And that's just one of them.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can go with regards to this question. But I mean, it's just a question that we need to pose to each other, and really look at the value within ourselves, and how we're helping our community, how we're helping ourselves, um, how we're being the light, in ourselves and for others. So it's just a little bit harder. We're was never taught to like uh, blow up, or like be all about me. It's about my community. It's about my family. It's about others before it is about me. And I think that, I don't know. I'm not going to say that's a mom thing, because I know a lot of people feel that way. So moms are not moms, but just taking the time to learn to identify it, I guess, is the first step. And I do identify it. So let's move on to the next question. So the next question we have is, how do you take your own advice? Why is it easier said than done?
Who's going first on this one?
I can go first.
Awesome.
So I want to pose to the community who's watching, to our friends that are watching. This is just a question that we have in general, that we put up a whole bunch of questions, but do you take your own advice? Do I take my own advice? I want to take my own advice, but sometimes it's hard. It's easier said than done. It's easy for me to say, hey, I'm gonna, do this and tell them how to do this. And, but when I think of myself, it definitely is, it is harder said than done, you know? And yes, I do take my own advice, not all at one time, but I need to step back and journal things and step back and try to process things. And I don't want to get over emotional about things, but I tend to. And and that's where I have good support. I have you, and I have, other individuals that truly that I can truly be really myself, and that you won't judge me. I have those people in my life, and I'm very excited that I'm very not excited, but I'm very honored and thankful to have those people in my life, because sometimes I can keep things in, and then I blow up and I break down and I cry, and you know and then I have you, Jen, to turn to, and just be a sounding board, a listening board, somebody that can hear what I have to say and not necessarily provide me advice, but listen, you know, be able to hear me cry and not necessarily give me advice, but let me allow it to let out. And that's where I turn to journaling a lot. And in this past week, we were talking about, these questions. And in this past week, I didn't journal. I did it a little bit, but I didn't do it constantly. So when I looked at this dream board, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making strides. I'm reaching my goals. If I was writing stuff down on a regular basis, making time for myself, I would have seen and maybe been in a better space. You know, this week was really hard. Um, but we got through it, and you know and it's a new day. So today's a new day, and that's it, the end. La la la. Turn it over to you, passing you the mic.
Thank you. I have it. I got the mic. Okay. So I feel like with this question, someone once told me they were telling me some advice about something, and she stopped in the middle and she was like, this is more for me than for you. Meaning she was hearing her own words and realizing that the things that she was saying, although they were important for me to hear, it was more important for her to hear. Like she's like, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to myself. And ever since that happened, I realized that sometimes when I'm giving advice, that I'm like, oh, this really is for me. Like I'm the one who has to hear what it is that I'm saying. And then the hard part though is actually doing it, actually following through and doing whatever it is that I am giving advice on. And why is it hard? I don't know why it's hard. I just know that it is. And I think maybe like, if things were easy, then everyone would do those things, but they're hard. And that's why, only some people actually start a live stream, and you and I, we talked about it, and we talked about it also with Teeny, and we talked about it and we kept talking about it, but it took, and it's hard. Why? Because you got to schedule it. You got to like learn this new equipment and all these things. You got to prepare for it. And so, but then like only a few people actually do it, and I didn't do it. Jennifer didn't like take it upon herself to like research what's the best, live stream and all of that. Like I didn't do any of that. You did it. So I took like I guess the easier way out. But yeah, so I think things are hard, and that separates those that do than those that say. And why do I not? Why is it easier said than done? It just is. everyone can talk. We can all talk. We can all say, we're going to do something, but then that requires effort and energy and planning and actually, doing action. And not all of us can do that. And it's not that we don't want to. It's just sometimes, you have things in your life that come up that throw a wrench in your machine, and you're like, I can't do anything, or whatever. So I don't know why it's easier said than done. If anyone in the comments does, please let us know. But yeah, so that's my thought about that. I try to take my own advice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for always being in my circle as well. I appreciate you. I appreciate you.
And thank you also. I love how when we talk and we have an issue, first of all, we always check in with each other. Like, do you have a minute? Can I talk to you about something? I just need to vent to you about this particular thing. And then usually one of us will say like, okay, do you want me to just listen, or do you want me to give you feedback on it? And then sometimes it's like, no, just listen. Like, I don't even want to hear anything that you have to say about it. I just need to like, blah, get it out, And I think we've known each other for over 20 years. So I feel like we've come to a really good space of being able to read each other when we need to read each other. And really, we have good communication in that particular way. And I think it's also something that we've worked on. Like, we've really, we've taken actual like classes together. What I'm hearing you say, that whole feedback thing. And it's something that I don't think necessarily comes naturally. It's something that we've both consciously worked on, and I'm really grateful for it. And I'm very grateful to have you as a person that I can always turn to in my moments of like darkness. So thank you.
Aw, Pilamaya. Thank you. I think we need to revisit that, what I heard you say.
Yeah,
Maybe
exactly.
it can be on our future, our next show, which we're going to have another one of these next month. So in April, keep a lookout for the date. It will be on a Saturday or a Sunday, whatever is convenient for all of us. But we'll definitely let you guys all know. So moving into the next question. Have words ever affected you or scared you? And I'm gonna let you go first.
Okay. And it actually scarred you, because we were talking about how like words could burn like, keep a lasting impression on you. And I just want to give a little backstory on what made us come up with this question. Everything that's happening right now with the API community, that triggered things for myself. And so we brought it up for discussion about, what's happening, and the hate crimes that are happening. It's absolutely horrible. I feel a little bit distant from it, because I feel like things are different here in Hawaii. And I feel that we are, I guess in a way, safer, not completely safe, but like safer from it, because we have a large API population. But the point is that we talked about words and how, words are part of what created this whole entire situation that we're in now. And then to bring it to a personal note, like to funnel it down to like, how has anything ever scarred you or affected you? And I would say for myself, yes, definitely. I did grow up in a really nice suburban neighborhood, but I was the only dark face throughout most of my childhood. In high school, I there were other people of color in my high school, but not that many. And same also in college. It really wasn't until I moved to LA that I was like, oh, okay, this is what it's like to be in a really diverse community. But so for me, having nothing to do with any of that, the words that scarred me have to do with my my chattiness, my talkativeness. And when I was really young, I was 6 or 7. I went on a trip with my grandparents to New York to visit some of our extended family. And it was just me and my grandparents. It was a beautiful, wonderful trip. It was also the very first time I saw Star Wars, which if you all know me, that's like a big deal. But anyways, on this particular trip, we were with somebody, and I don't recall who this woman was. And she brought her granddaughter along, or grandchildren. So there was like 3 or 4 kids, and I think we were at like a Chuck E. Cheese type of a place. And I think we were all eating our pizza, but for whatever reason, because I'm a talkative person, I was just like talking. And then I don't remember how her comment came out, like what made her say this comment. But I remember this woman turned to me, the woman that was with us. She turned to me and she was like, "But you just keep on talking and talking. That's why you haven't finished your dinner." And I was like, the way that she said it, it was like so mean-spirited, and it was definitely, she was trying to shut me down, you know? And I took that in, and it really affected me. Like I thought, oh, it's really bad to talk. And I kind of like shut down for a while. Not just that night, like, not just that night, but just like for a while. I really felt like, oh, I guess I talk too much. And I would get that note, like when you would get a report card, or when I would get a report card, I would get sometimes a note on there like Jennifer talks too much, or Jennifer's talkative. And I don't have a defense for that. I just am. That's how I am. And it wasn't until way later in life when, and I think it was Oprah, but it could have been somebody else, said that she got that comment and she was like, yeah, I was talkative. And look at me now. I have my own talk show, And so I think those words did affect me. They definitely left an imprint on me. But I'm at the point now where when I do hear that comment, because I just recently heard it, like, wow, you talk a lot. I don't recoil. I don't shut down. I don't apologize for it. I'm just like, yeah, I do. And that's how I am. And we don't have to be friends. We don't have to, you can just turn me off, if I'm talking too much on this live stream, then tune out, I guess. I don't know. But I guess now I'm at the point where I own it, and I'm okay with it. Whereas before it was I was shamed. I was shamed, and I was ashamed that I did.
And look at you now. You have your own talk show.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's not funny. It's reality. It's reality, because I think that that words can affect you, even if they're small words, even if they're words that were unintentional, not being meant to say to hurt you, but I think that I know that words can be hurtful, even if you're joking, even if you're even if you're, you know, saying it without harm, that you think it's without harm. People are listening, and I just, there have been many words for myself that have hurt me, or many stories that I have heard, or things that youth have told me, or parents have told me, and I try to always keep a good heart without being mean. Because I know how hard that feels when somebody says something that can affect me in a way, um, in different ways. Um, I just think, yes, it does. Words affect you. Words can stick with you. Words can change you. Words can either hurt you, or they can inspire you. Or I've always been affected by words. I've always been somebody that I don't know, just thinking about it right now, it's words are powerful. And one of the things that my auntie said was, go back a couple of questions. Stop talking about it and do it. She always said, so yes, words can hurt. Yes, I do believe that they do hurt. I think being mindful of what you say to different people is important, because people hear it, and although they might not tell you something, it does affect them. So that's it. The end. La la la.
What about the opposite of that? Have you ever carried any positive words that have been said to you that you like reflect on years later, or days or weeks later?
There's an airplane going by right now, so I was trying to.
Hmm.
I don't know if you can hear it, but usually I have the earphones in, and that was another thing. I couldn't find my earphones this morning, so there has been positive words that have affected me. I think that um, somebody told me recently that they were praying for me, and that they
Mm.
were thinking of me, and just to hear them say that, um, to hear them think of me in a positive way was um, was awesome, um,
Mhm.
because you don't necessarily get that, like when you talk to somebody and they say, I've been, you've been on my mind, and I've been praying for you. I might not like message you, but you definitely have been in my prayers. And that made me feel good. That made me feel um, like somebody was thinking about me, or somebody was praying for me, and that people are out there supporting you, even though they might not tell you. They that this individual definitely, um, I don't know this person really like you,
Mhm.
probably like within the last 1 to 2 years, but for them to say that was very heartfelt. Yeah. So words, positive and negatively, do affect.
Agreed.
So there's another, I don't know, I live with airports, so there's another plane. But let's go to the next question.
Mm-hmm.
But before we do too, let's just say hello to Cynthia Shahey. She just says, hello, y'all. Just checking in. Thanks for being here, Cynthia. Tell the girls I said hello. Um, so the next question that we have up on the screen is that's not the question that we're looking for. But Jen, do you want to say anything else while I look for the question?
Okay, I will. Oh, okay, no, that's the one we already did that one. I'll go back to the words thing, the positive words thing. And speaking of Leah Hale, this is the first thing that popped into my mind. Back in the early 2000s, I very specifically remember some words that both Leah and her sister, Tawny, told me that have been implanted in my brain ever since. So probably 19 to 20 years that this has been implanted in my mind. They told me that I was going through a hard time at work, and they told me that I didn't need a job, like a place of work, to do good in the community. Like they said, and I'm laughing because I'm like, they even used a Star Wars metaphor. They're like, you are a Jedi, and a Jedi uses a lightsaber, but like if you take that away from them, they're still a Jedi. Doesn't matter. Like you could take that away, but what makes them a Jedi is like their being. So they can take that away from you, but you're still a force for good. So you have to like remember that. Like just because this part of your life is ending, it doesn't mean that like everything is over. It means that you're just going to have to find another tool, another weapon. And I remember because I was sitting in a white van, our community white van, like a lot of the nonprofits in Los Angeles, like we all have like these big old cargo vans, white vans. So we were sitting in a white van, and I was in the driver's seat, and probably Tawny was in the passenger seat, and Leia was like leaning through between the two, and we were talking about what was happening. And I'm pretty sure actually it was Tawny that said it, although I don't recall, but I know that we were all together, and they were very passionate about it, and very like, they can take that away from you, but you're still a Jedi, and it was like, and it really, really uplifted me. And I've carried that with me for all these years. So yeah, that's something that I always like flash back to when things are getting tough, or I'm going through a situation that is similar to what happened. I always remember that. So that's an example of really good words that have been with me. I've carried with me.
That's
Okay.
awesome. And for them to, I'm sorry?
I said, go ahead, take it away.
Oh, okay. Well, one of the things that I want to say is the Jedi. So the people with the white are the stormtroopers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Jedi is
Luke
The one with the
Skywalker.
lightsaber?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. We're all on the same path. Where I understand. I understand. Okay. So, the next question. Getting to the point, why does it take so long?
I'm laughing because this is hilarious. Do you want to go first?
Okay.
Me? Oh no,
Well,
you.
yeah. You go first because you always explain it really well, and then I can feed off of it.
Oh, well, how was it explained to me? I guess this is like a Hale thing. Um, because Mr. Ben Hale explained it to me years ago. And actually, he wasn't explaining it to me. He was explaining it to an audience, and I happened to be sitting there. Um, and Mr. Ben Hale is a important figure in Southern California who has a lot of knowledge, a lot of medicine, and he was doing a presentation, and I happened to be there. And he was talking about how in Western culture, a lot of times people are in a hurry and they want to get to it quick. What's the point? Um, and for indigenous culture, when we speak and we're taking our time out of our day, out of our life to talk to you about something, we want to make sure that we're understood, that you understand what we're talking about. So in order for us to do that, we need to give you all of the information so that we can get to the point. So if you think of it as like a funnel in a way, like we're giving you all this information and then we'll get to the point, because that's the only way that we know that you can fully understand what we're talking about. And I think it's also the same. I read about it in psychology, the difference between men and women, the way men and women communicate is women have a lot of details and they want to make sure that you fully understand what we're talking about. So it may take us a while to get to the point because we're giving you all these details. And so I'm aware of this difference, and I try to adjust accordingly. And it can be difficult because I have a lot of people in my life who really like to get to the point quick. And I know for myself, sometimes I get impatient and I'm like that too. But I try to also take a step back and be like, I feel like when people are telling a giving a lot of details, they're giving it for a reason. They're not deliberately trying to waste time or something. There's a reason for it. I'm the listener, so I'm the one who's being impatient. And I also try to read my audience and just be like, if it looks like people are going impatient, then I'm like, okay, let's get the show on the road, and this is the point. So I don't know. I don't have any other explanation other than that why it takes so long to get to the point, but I think it's hilarious. And I had just recently sent Averill a TikTok video of a guy who was playing both the girlfriend and the boyfriend, and he was like, he said that he's like, every time you tell me a new name or a new story, I have to delete childhood memories from my mind because I'm trying to make room for all of this, basically all of this information that you're telling me, needless, useless information. And he was basically saying like, so stop telling me all this because I'm running out of memory. I don't know. I thought that was hilarious. So that's my story of why does it take so long. I'll pass it to you now, Averill.
Thank you so much. I remember you giving a training and I was in that training. And one of the things that you had said was, it's like storytelling. Our people are storytellers, and it's living in two worlds, basically, the indigenous world and the Western world. And one of the things that I always do is try to give you like the backstory of what the point is. And a lot of the times, people that aren't indigenous, or are new to this concept, um, lose interest, I guess you would say. But I want to go back to something. One time, I was telling a friend of mine about sweat, and how I had to go to the medicine man and buy a pack of cigarettes and buy some tobacco and go into his house and sit down and visit with him, and not just ask him to do the sweat. So I was telling this individual, I went to with my niece Raylan Ray back in Pine Ridge. We went to this gentleman's house, and I took some tobacco, and we visited it. And they knew my mom and dad. They knew my mom, and they were telling me stories about what's going on the res, and how my mom used to be. And then I offered them. I listened, and I was there for a good like 45 minutes to an hour. And it was just my intention to go and ask them. But that's not how we do it in our culture, in our ways. You don't just go and take. It's also the same thing like with medicine. When you're harvesting medicine, when I harvested this California white sage, I didn't just go and take the plant from Mother Nature. I offered a offering. I prayed, and a lot of the times, you know, telling a story, or giving you the back end to that story, or the pre story, helps, so that next time when I'm going to the medicine man, and you're asking why I have to get tobacco or stop at the store to get tobacco, you'll know that, it's a story. It's my story, and I'm telling you. And when I told that story to this individual, they're all like, it took you 20 minutes to tell me that you went to go ask this medicine man for a ceremony, when you could have just said it right away. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I could have just told you right away. But next time you won't have to ask me these questions. And I'm not going to change for that individual. That's just the way that we do things. And it's funny though too, because sometimes I can be telling this long old story and telling all these things, and I forget the point. I forget what I'm talking about. But if you're listening, and you always are, you can help round me up and get me back to, what it is that I was trying to say. But it's funny, and that's just who we are as a people. That's how I was taught and raised, and that's who I am. So like it or don't, and I'm not going to change, because that's how I learned. So why does it take so long to get to the point, is because we're storytellers. We're individuals who, value that time to sit and talk. And, a lot of the times we need to teach young ones, or just anybody in general, to listen to the stories that people have to tell. Listen to the lesson, that it's a teaching. Listen for that lesson. And sometimes with like electronics, we just did this training for positivity and parenting, me and you, Jen. And a lot of the times we refer back to like the Western world. A lot of the times people want it right now, you know and like electronics or games, they push a button and reactions happen right away, which feed them. you know um and in our times, we had to sit and listen. And I didn't like to do it when I was a little kid. It went back home in Taos. We when we have ceremony, people come in and our elders will sit and they'll say this long speech, and they'll say it in Daiki. They'll say it in our Indian language, and you just have to sit and listen. And then after they're done talking, then you agree, huh? You say, huh, like yes, like I understand, like thank you. But that's we're just storytellers, and that's the way it is, and that's all.
And I think as Indigenous people, we really put a value on relating and making connection. I know here in Hawaii, they put a really big value on this thing. It's called talk story, which is where you do basically what we're doing. Just talk back and forth, like you have a conversation before you jump into whatever the point is. Um, and I didn't, when I moved here, nobody gave me a handbook to tell me like how things are. Um, but I do remember logging on to one of my first HFC Hawaii Filmmaker Collective. Um, one of my first virtual gatherings with them, and they put in the invite that will be available 15 minutes early before the time so we can talk story. And I was like, talk story? What does that mean? Like, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, are we going to be like pitching ideas about stories? Like, what does that mean? So I tuned in, and then everyone was just chit-chatting, talking about what's going on in their lives. And in my mind, I was waiting for, okay, when are we going to start talking story? And then I realized, like, oh, this is what it is. You're telling your story. You're just talking about what's the story in your life, what's going on, before our actual meeting starts. So that's one thing that I wanted to share. And the second was, a long time ago, I saw this. I think it was on TV. I'm pretty sure it was on TV. It was some show where there were two indigenous, like one of them was playing like an indigenous like senator or something like that, and the other one was playing like maybe a lobbyist. And so we had seen in the scenes earlier, we had seen this native senator dealing with other Western senators, and very business, very very Washington, D.C. type of actions. But then when the native person came to visit his office, he called him in and they sat down. And in all the previous ones, they got to business right away. They didn't have time to like sit around. But then the native guy came in and he shut his door and he told his secretary, like, I'm going to be in here for a while. And they sat down, and he moved from behind his desk to like the sitting area, and they just sat and they talked and they prayed, and then they jumped into business. But the whole scene was about them relating. And it just kind of struck me as like there was a definite difference between the way that he was interacting with the other senators, the other lobbyists that were not native, and the way that he interacted with the native one. And I was like, yeah, that's what we do. You have to you don't just dive right into it. I mean, of course you can, but like, that's not our way. Our way is we try to build a little bit of connection, a little bit of understanding first. And then once we have that, you can, move forward. So that's a little like sidebar or bonus that I wanted to add.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly what we did yesterday, right? We were just talking, and then we came up with these questions, and we're just visiting, and it was really good. It's definitely has it's really good to visit. So yeah, one of the questions or one of the comments from Josette was, do you ever wonder why details and story time is needed? Do you feel better after you have visited? I always feel better, especially visiting with you, Jen, because I can, you know, reflect and be heard. And yeah, yes. So
Yeah.
yes is my question,
Yeah,
is my
I would
answer.
say the same for me too. After I've visited, I always feel better because I feel like, okay, we've established something, we've established a connection, or I feel heard, especially, yeah, when I'm talking to you, I know that I'm being heard. So I definitely appreciate that comment. I don't know why the details and story time are needed, but I do know that after I visit, I definitely feel better.
Yes, definitely.
So
So
I'm looking at
let's
the
go. I'm
time.
sorry about the background noise.
It's okay. I was saying I was looking at the time and I can't believe it. Like it has flown by. Okay, are we
It
moving on to the
has,
question?
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has, right? We have 5 more minutes. But what made you want to start your own business? Um, I do you want me to answer, or
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because we have about
you,
5 more minutes and
yeah,
okay.
you.
So what made me want to start my own business is being able to make my own hours, being able to do what I wanted to do, um, taking care of me, and taking care of myself, and being able to make my own hours, my own rules, my own path. I definitely have learned a lot from the jobs that I have had in the past, and it definitely has shaped me and helped me to be who I am. It's given me this platform and allowed me to learn different things and to step up. My sister, when COVID happened, my sister Songtree, she reached out to me and said, "Can you come to New Mexico and do some workshops for us?" And I did that. And then I came back home and then COVID hit. And she was like, "You need to go big. You need to take the next step." And this is the next step for me. So as a small business, as a sole entrepreneur, this is what I'm doing. This is what I am learning. This is how um, pivoting has worked for me, this platform. And I do a lot of different types of things, and I have to hustle to make my money. I don't have a 40 an hour work week. Some days I might be working from um, 10 o'clock in the night to like 4 o'clock in the morning, but that's okay because that's my schedule. I have a lot of different things. One thing that I am doing, which I do want to show, is this little clip and encourage everybody to join. So I do a Paku Wellness Hour, which is twice a month. And next month, we're going to be having um, Monique Castro from Indigenous Circle of Wellness. So I just want to go ahead and have you register at that link below, bit.ly/Paku March 24 Wellness. This actually is a hour and a half show, and we meet twice a month, and we have fun. We, sing. We do different things. We give away free raffle to Target, Walmart, and Amazon, $25. And our next one is going to have Indigenous Circle of Wellness, which is a mental health, culturally indigenous mental health organization in Los Angeles. And when you register, it's going to ask you different questions that you want to ask to a therapist. So I just encourage everybody to register if you can. The event is going to happen on Wednesday. And yeah, so that's my business. What started wanting me to make my own business is being able to make my own rules, being able to, do my own thing. I do definitely need a lot of confidence, and thank everybody for watching today. We've had a consistent, it's not about numbers. It's just about, if nobody was watching, it would still be a good time to visit with you. So I just want to say thank you. Um, Thank you so much for being in my life, being in my circle, helping me with my business. You've definitely made me successful and helped me to believe in myself and to believe in my business, which is um, AC and Associates. And again, on my dream board, you can see that I definitely am trying to increase my YouTube stuff. So don't forget to subscribe and follow at AC and Associates. And thank you everybody for watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you don't know about Twitch, it's a online live stream where they do like gaming and music and DJ. So I just want to say hello and give a shout out to our Twitch watchers, and just say thank you for helping me to be the best entrepreneur that I can be. In these times of COVID, everything's gone online, and if it weren't for my sister Songtree, who encouraged me to take that next step, um, then I would still be not here. But I definitely am excited about everything, about life. Today, has been a great show. So I just want to say thank you, Jen, for always, taking on my crazy ideas.
Of course, that's what I'm here for. Thank you. I can't wait to do it again next month.
Yeah. Do you want to share your social medias, your socials, so people can follow you?
Sure. I think right now the one that I'm really trying to grow is my Twitter. So it's at Native Muse. I'm also on Instagram, which is at native_muse. And then I'm on TikTok. I haven't really been able to. I'm more of a watcher than a contributor, but I'm doing my best to like add more videos to my TikTok. But for me, Twitter is like, that's my number one social media that I go to. Not just for news, but just like I've gotten some really great opportunities. I've actually been hired for things off of Twitter. So Twitter is like, that's my go-to. I love Twitter. I love all the socials. I love Facebook and Instagram and everything, but Twitter has been like the one that has really been a great place for me. So yeah, those
Nice.
are mine. Yeah.
So follow my girl on TikTok. You can see her information down below. I'm not on TikTok. I don't want to be on TikTok. It's just another rabbit hole for me. I have all kinds of other stuff, but my girl, she sends me different TikToks, like she had said mentioned, and it's funny, but I'm just not a TikTok kind of girl right
Yeah.
now. Or
At
I
least
don't
not
plan to
now.
be. No, I don't plan to be. I know it's like a rabbit hole, and I don't want to get sucked in. So, but thanks guys for watching. Thank you for being here. Again, we'll be here next month again. We do want to give a shout out to our girl, Justine Medina. She's part of Sissy's, Unci's, and Auntie. She couldn't be here today with us, but this Unci, and this Auntie and this Sissy is here with you. So thank you all. Thank you in the comments for joining us. We're going to go ahead and sign off and say goodbye. But any last words, Jen, that you might have?
I hope everyone has a beautiful weekend.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks, guys, for being here again, and we will see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.